will of your own thoughts, how you want to do your own thing. That got to go. And the best way to practice it is in every single dimension that you are working, whatever you're doing, any conversation, be it with your kids, be it with your spouse, be it at job, always be mindful of, let me take myself out the equation and then reapproach the situation again. Boss mad, boss getting about 2 seconds away from firing you. Now you want to get into justifying what you did good, but I should have been there. Wait, let me take me out the equation. So that way you can really see what's going on. Maybe I do need to humble myself more. Maybe I was just doing something, was in a situation that I wasn't paying attention to. Maybe I just got caught doing it my way so long that finally when the heat come on boss, and he putting the heat on us, I can't get mad. I know working in a nursing home is interesting because, you know, you get to taking care of people, and after a while, you know, you kind of get to doing things comfortably, your way of doing things, how you give care. You know, you may took care of a family member or your kids, and you just give that natural care. It ain't always according to every single fine print, according to this health law. Some of it almost would be impossible to do it every day. When you got a certain amount of time to do this, to get people up, to take care, get people out to appointments and get them ready for this, and you got to do every single step that they train you to do, it's almost impossible. However, all of a sudden, out the blue, State Department come in and start doing audits. Now, you done forgot how to do it naturally, so you mad, you fussing at everybody, you blaming this, no, see why they busting the room like that in the first place, or, you know, I don't know what. Listen, let me tell you something. Just humble yourself. Take yourself out the equation. And just think, okay, I understand this. They coming in here. I know, you know what I'm saying, that they, you know, we do it my way and I'm a good worker. However, I always got to still go back over how it's supposed to be done, just in case. If you humble yourself, the solution is a lot more easy than you wolf ticking. So we have to remember that. The sons of God was not born by the will of the flesh. Your will of the flesh is going to keep you from ever coming to that full life. Because you simply just want to do what you want to do. So now, let's go into Romans the 8th chapter. We're going to touch on the sons of God a little bit more. We're going to keep it moving. Romans the 8th chapter. Because the sons of God don't walk according to the flesh. They were not born of the flesh. 11, according to what Paul read, Paul spoke unto us in 1 Corinthians the 5th chapter. All was contained in that flesh. Romans 8:1. When you get it, go ahead and read.
There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Christ Jesus, who walk not after the Spirit, but walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
So in other words, if you walk after the Spirit, you ain't got to worry about being condemned in your flesh. Skip down to verse 3 and continue.
For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, God said...
Hold on, wait, let's get a little understanding of this. When he said, for what the law could not do, in that it was weak in the flesh, the law was the knowledge of sin. Paul going to let you know this in Romans 7 when we get there. That's all it was. It let you know what your sin was. But it was up for you to have the Spirit not to be enticed to do that sin again. But if you still had that in you, man, to keep doing what you wanted to do, the law was weak then. Because the only thing the law could do was tell you what your sin was. Go ahead and read.
In that it was weak through the flesh, God sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin, condemned sin in the flesh.
So he said, listen here. God sent his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh. He got the same flesh you got. Can be tempted the same way you can be tempted. Can get angry and all of these different things that lead to sin the same way you can. But guess what? He did not walk in that. He walked after the Spirit. That's why he was called the Son of God. And then it was confirmed that he was the Son of God in the resurrection. That's how sin was condemned in the flesh. He ain't had to follow up on it.
That's right.
And so if you want to be a son of God, all you have to do is not follow up on your sinful nature in your flesh. And be born of the Spirit, not by the will of your own thoughts. What's that? Verse 3? Go ahead and continue.
That the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
That's why here in verse 4, if you walk like Christ did, and if you walk after the Spirit, he calls that the righteousness of the law. The law itself only told you what you did wrong. If you went out and you committed adultery, the law told you was an adultery. You committed adultery. But if you treat your spouse as equal, as one, and you love your spouse as you love yourself, and would not see harm unto your spouse, then guess what? Adultery wouldn't be in the picture. You have fulfilled the righteousness of the law. Like Proverbs say, he that committeth adultery lack understanding. Which you don't understand is holy, was holy. Remember, knowledge of the holy is understanding. So therefore, now you are fulfilling that righteousness now. You don't have to worry about ever wondering if I'm going to cheat on my spouse, because you're walking in a righteousness that's not even an issue. It's almost like slapping your mother if you look highly respectable up to your mother. That's just a thought that I need.
Yeah, that even got us chuckling.
Right.
Yeah,
that's not even a thought that's in you. And that's how fulfilling the righteousness of the law is. It's just something that's stealing from my brother. I don't care if he got a whole stack of money on the table. It's not even in me to steal it. It'd be like me taking money out of my own pocket, putting it over there. Now I'm going to steal my own money. How foolish did that look? But that's the spirit that you have to have. Go ahead and continue reading, my brother.
For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh.
You after the flesh, you only think about things of the flesh. I'm trying to feel good. I'm trying to go do this. I'm trying to be about this. I'm trying to have that. I'm trying to... Everything that comes out of your mouth is something that's trying to fill the flesh. With that type of thinking, you ain't going to never be a son of God. Matter of fact, anything that's of the spirit is going to vex you. Take away your funful things or your fleshful things so you can take care of the Lord's business. Oh, well, only way you're going to be there is because you just want to get over and get it done. Not because you got a joy to be there and be into it. Go ahead and read.
But they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. For to be carnally minded is death.
That's right.
But to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
If you carnally minded is death. Everything, man, that's carnal minded comes to an end. That's how it's death. Everything comes to an end. You got a whole lot of money, it's going to come to an end. You know what I'm saying? I'm quite sure we all have maybe $100, $200 to play with after a paycheck. We dread that day when we down to the last $1.50. Especially if payday may be a couple days away. Now we know we got to sit a couple days with no money in our pocket. And it all brings death. Death is just the ending of something. And we hold on to what we got. We don't want to see the end of it, which makes us more afraid of death. But he also says spiritually minded is life and peace. Man, you can be broke, not have nothing. And I'm just using that as an immediate example. But still have life and peace and have a good time with the little you got. Why? Because the joy that you so trying to spend your money to go get, the joy that you trying to go around the whole entire planet looking for it, digging the earth up to find, stacking up to find, that joy already exists. You just don't know that it's there. You done took another path of getting it. That's how you deceive. But that joy is already there. I could have fun being broke and not doing nothing in my house, chilling with my family, than I could hanging out with the crew and going to go do 999 things. In fact, the joy of my family is long lasting because I can lay down in peace. But the joy of my own, I'm going to have to come on to an argument if I stay out too long. So everything of the flesh tends to death. Go ahead and finish.
Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be.
The carnal mind don't want to obey God. That's just how it is. It wants what it wants when it wants. That's why Paul lets you know that the law is spiritual, and it cannot be in subjection. It is not made to be in subjection. That's why he's going to quicken your flesh with his spirit. Skip down to verse 14 and continue.
For as many are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God.
So if you led by the Spirit of God, you are the son of God, and you have now put that leaven from amongst you. Because the flesh profit nothing. Let's read that. Go to John 6 and 63. Just that one verse. Because some people, you know, like in the days of the Pharisees, everything was always a carnal act. You know, they got on Jesus and disciples about not even washing their hands. Because if you read Talmudic law, even Jesus spoke of in one of the Gospels, washing the pots and those ceremonial, the washing of the hands and, all of these stuff. And all of these different carnal ceremonies. Even if we read Matthew 23, even just the appearance of the long robes being called by chief names and these extra long fringes at the end of the garment and so on and so forth. All of these things were the show of the flesh, the beauty of the flesh. That's why when books say when the Messiah was to come, there was no beauty in him that he should be desired. In other words, there was no emphasis of the flesh. There was no emphasis, nothing that stood out. No three-piece pink suit, no gold, no gators, none of that stuff that made you stick out. That's what this was about. This beauty and this love was a spiritual beauty that our flesh just don't want to deal with. Now let's go into